Hello everyone, it's Halen, and today we are talking about New Light. Now if you're not familiar with New Light, this is what Bungie is calling an entry point for new players, and gives everyone access to the game and some of its activities. I myself am a fan of MMOs who offer a freemium or free-to-play experience. I've played a lot of TERA, SWTOR, Guild Wars, and personally I think all MMOs should also have a free-to-play tier. As a consumer and gamer, I think this is a win-win scenario. Developers still get paid, everyone can enjoy the game, and games like MMOs especially benefit because player populations and activity are important. Today we're going to talk about whether New Light is just a tease or a trial, or if it is a free-to-play Destiny 2 experience. Let's first talk about what will be free and what you can play as a New Light player. Pretty much everything in year one for campaigns and raids will be free. So that includes the Red War, Curse of Osiris, and Warmind campaigns. And for raids, that means the Leviathan raid and its 2 layers, Eater of Worlds and Spire of Stars. For Crucible, they did say something interesting. They said all quote-unquote competitive maps will be available. I'd imagine that means a free-to-play, or a New Light player will be able to quick play to their heart's content. It sounds like competitive queues will also be available to them. Gambit seems to be unlimited for New Light players. All patrol areas and bounties, to include the Moon area, the new area for Shadowkeep. All strikes except for the Shattered Throne, which is technically named a dungeon. And they talked about a new dungeon coming in Shadowkeep. All strikes, but no dungeons. And the most mysterious and questionable part of New Light will be select annual pass content. So now we've talked about what is available to New Light players, what is locked away, or what can't they access. Well, that is pretty much all campaigns, raids, quests, exotics from year 2 and onward. Anything from Forsaken or Season of Opulence as we know it now. That includes quite a bit of gear and quest lines and raids, as we'll talk about. Having gone over what is available and what is not available, is this a free-to-play experience or a trial? Let's first of all set the parameters for both of these definitions. Many MMOs have flaunted the news of going free-to-play, like World of Warcraft did, only to find out that pretty much the experience is over as quickly as it began. In the case of World of Warcraft, that was you can create a new character, play the game like normal, but only up to level 15. I believe it was level 15, it may have been level 20, so you can get your specialization, you can do some dungeons, and you can see how the game plays, kind of play around with some gear, that sort of thing. But you couldn't do any in-game activity, not even mid-game activity, if that's a thing. So that's definitely a trial to me. An actual free-to-play experience would involve repeated play sessions, like I do my resets this week, I can come back and do more stuff next week, and the ability to join your friends who are actually spending money on the game and do some activities that they are doing. And I think New Light has the potential to be a free-to-play Destiny 2 experience. It may even feel that way for some players, but it's going to be an extreme limited trial for others. Let's talk about those groups of people. First, we have the social gamers, people who just want to keep in touch with a friend, they don't really care about min-maxing the build, or doing pinnacle or in-game activities. With access to the Moon and bounties, most friends with Shadowkeep should be able to play with New Light friends without feeling like they have to change up their priorities or play something else because their friend doesn't own Shadowkeep, especially if you just want to have some game nights in the Crucible or Gambit. Speaking of Crucible or Gambit players, it is a fantastic feature that these activities are completely unlocked for New Light players. I can totally see people who play Destiny 2 as their main game casually playing these PvP modes. Of course, the future of Gambit isn't too clear right now. It's possible that Bungie pulls a fast one and makes Gambit Ultra, which is only available for Shadowkeep players and not New Light players, so the Gambit that we know now may not be the same queue in Shadowkeep. Crucible and Gambit are also where we start to pump the brakes on the hype train. Remember I said casual play. I think if anyone's wanting to be competitive in these modes, they're going to need those impactful weapons and gear that you find in Forsaken and onward. I'm talking about Ace of Spades, The Last Word, Outbreak Perfected, One-Eyed Mask, Mountaintop, Forge Weapons, etc. Some people may see this as a challenge and think no big deal. I myself didn't have Gjallarhorn for almost a year during Destiny 1, while my friends deleted everything around me so I could use whatever legendary I could scrape up. Sometimes it can be enjoyable to not feel forced into a certain weapon or piece of gear. But for New Light players, I think this will feel more like a disadvantage as time goes on. However, we still don't know what the Shadowkeep meta will be. Maybe the weapons that are available to New Light players will fit in nicely. Finally, let's talk about raiding as a New Light player. First, we have to also remember that all players, New Light and Shadowkeep, will be brought up to a power level of 750. Now let's remember what power level the Leviathan raid and layers start at. Yeah, that's a huge difference. To be fair, not many free-to-play tiers of other PC MMOs allow raiding at all. SWTOR, for example, does not allow raiding in their free tier. I don't see anyone going into the raids repeatedly for gear or to repeat the experience weekly as a New Light player. It really bums me out to see all the unlimited access to PvP and even patrolling the new Moon Zone and get access to world drops from there, including Armor 2.0, but the raid access is over a year behind. This to me is very much like a trial and not free to play. If Bungie does decide to give Destiny 2 a real free-to-play experience, I think all activities besides current campaigns, quests, modes, and raids would have to be available. So essentially I'm saying New Light should reflect what Destiny is right now before the launch of Shadowkeep. However, they are describing New Light as an entry point for new players to join their friends, and even I agree that's what they are doing. In the end, is better than a trial, but not so much a full free-to-play Destiny 2 experience. But what about you guys? Let me know in the comments what you think a free-to-play Destiny would look like, and if you think it should be free-to-play. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe below. Also, check out my links in the description. I'll see you in the next one.